All right, so we have here a game against Daniel Contin.
Contin, yeah. He was a very talented young master from, I think, from Mendrisio. He played for this.
From where?
From Mendrisio. Mendrisio was a team from the Italian part of Switzerland. You know, they took part in the Superliga, the so-called best players team players from Switzerland, and it was decisive game. If our team won this this game against Mendrisio, we had very good chances to become Swiss champions. I mean, to win the championship for teams. You know, I mean, the team from Bern, SK Bern. And I played myself this line with Queen A5, which is a little bit rare, against the Marozzi variation. Marozzi variation is this line, you see. If black here took in d4, it was the normal line, you know, instead of Queen A5. Queen A5 check is, it was a novelty, the so-called novelty in the time, you see, you know. Instead of knight c3 here, white has the possibility to play bishop d2. But after bishop d2, the game is completely even immediately. So instead of knight c3, bishop d2, queen b6, and now you have to react only with bishop c3 because otherwise you lose a pawn. Attacked in d4 and in b2. And after bishop c3, black takes immediately in d4. And now after knight takes d4, you play knight c6, completely even immediately. My game was Wolf Anderson, for instance, and against Larsen and so on. And then instead of this, white can take with the bishop in d4 instead of, yeah, the knight is in f3. In f3, black took in d4, and now bishop takes. And now bishop takes, you take in d4. Now he has to take with the queen, because otherwise he loses the pawn from b2. So with the queen, now you take in d4, he takes in d4, and knight c6, completely even again. Again, highest level against Larsen, Anderson, and so on. In that time, I played a lot of this. I never lost against super grandmasters. You know, I played also against Petrosian and so on. The game, I mean, black has fantastic game. I mean, fantastic game against very strong players. The only problem here is that if you play against a weaker player, it's very dangerous because you can draw the game. I mean, it's possible not to win with black.
With black?
With black, yeah. The position is even, completely even. Maybe you don't win. Against a weaker player is not good. I mean, you have to try to win, of course. But against a much stronger player, it's excellent for black, you see, because if you have an even game after 7 or 8 moves, it's excellent for black, you see. So, okay, knight c3. Now, this is much more complicated after knight c3, you see. So, knight c3, knight c6, and now bishop e3 is already a small mistake. It's unbelievable, you know, because it's the most normal move, you see.
Yeah.
But instead of bishop e3, the best move here is to play d5. Very complicated again.
d5?
d5, yes. And after bishop d5, knight d4, very strong move. I mean, the best. No? Now, simply bishop d2, and white is slightly better. That I played between others against Medins in Vienna in 86, and against Petrosian in Manila in 73. So here, against Petrosian was a draw after a very big fight. Against Mednis, I won a very nice game. We presented already here. And after bishop d2, now the move order is very important. Now, if you want to play the best moves for black, you have to take immediately in f3. If you don't take immediately in f3, for instance, if you play d6,
yeah,
surprisingly, after d6, white is better. Now white takes in d4. And if you take with c, knight b5, very, very big complications, but white is clearly better. You know, theory. This is theory. So, okay, so after knight takes f3 check, no, Nasha, yes, like this. He played bishop, I mean, instead of bishop e3, the last possibility, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, d5, knight d4. Bishop d2, knight takes f3, check, queen takes f3, d6. Very complicated position. White is slightly better, but it's okay. We have a Benoni here with black. where we could trade one piece, which is a good idea. If you arrive to castle, normally with black, the position is more or less even. Very complicated, I tell you again, but it's okay for black. I mean, you can play a normal game, you see. But this is probably the best line for white, even now, with the computer age that we have now.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, of course, he was a little bit surprised, my opponent, and after knight c3, he played quickly enough bishop e3, which is the most normal line, you see, bishop e3. So now, if you take now in d4, we come back in a Maroczy, a little bit better for white. But after knight f6, you have to decide what to do, and the normal move is here d5, because instead of d5, if you play bishop d3, for instance, after bishop d3, knight g4, black has an excellent position, Instead of d5, bishop d3 now.
Yes.
After bishop d3, knight g4. Now what to do? If black can take in e3, it's very bad, If not, we attack in this e3, we attack in d4. What to do? Very unpleasant. So d5. After d5, big surprise. Knight takes e4. Now white is lost already, in my opinion. Immediately after the opening. Of course, it was home analysis from myself, but my opponent was very, very surprised, and he tried to react here. What to do? Black won a pawn.
Yeah.
You have to take in c6, because if you don't take in c6, you can resign immediately with white, you see. So he took in c6, I took in c3, and now he played the only good move, queen d2, because otherwise, if he takes with the pawn in the c3, after queen takes c3 check, again, very bad position.
This one is lost.
Yeah. So, okay, he played queen d3, hoping that if you pin the knight from c3, he can resist. But again, after queen d2, the last surprise b6, and now it's clear what to do. The queen is defended in a5. We threaten to go away with the knight, you see. And if you take, for instance, in d7, is also bad, because the bishop plays immediately. And then we move the knight, and we have pawn up and winning position with black, you see.
Yep.
So, right, the last hope. After b6, what did he play? Castle, no? Castle? Yes, castle. I mean, he goes away with the king. No? And now black can go away with the knight. And now the result is clear. What to do? b3, the last hope. But okay, he's lost anyway here. He tries to complicate a little bit the position, hoping that maybe, somehow he can resist, The knight for the moment is a little bit out of play, it seems, the knight from a4. But black has enough, and they can, demonstrate it very quickly. So now we take in d2. He takes with the bishop, and now the last blow, bishop g4. I mean, we let the knight, look, all the pieces, are attacked. The rook from a1 is attacked, the knight from a4 is attacked. So he has to do something. If he takes back in a4, we can take first in f3, and then we take in a1 later on, but not immediately. I mean, for instance, he takes there, and big castle, castle queenside, or immediately we can take. And he takes, and now castle, long side. What to do? The two bishops are attacked, he's lost completely, Can resign in a few moves. Has nothing for the pawns. And the pawn structure is destroyed for white, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, right. After bishop g4, he can resign. But he played first bishop e4, and still castle now. Now again, the knight is attacked, the rook is attacked. What to do with white, you see? Bishop g5, okay. Desperation, I mean, it has to do something. Okay. So now, we took the exchange, he takes the exchange, and now we move knight c3. Now the knight comes back in, place again. So you have to take first in c6, the only move. No? So now f6, the best. We attack the bishop, he has to retreat the bishop now. And now after bishop e3, we simply king c7, everything is attacked for white again.
Yeah.
White resigned. Yeah. Home analysis.
Home analysis.
Home analysis without computer. No.
Yeah.
Human, but very good, excellent home analysis.
It was one way.
Yeah. And everything is first, After bishop e3, knight f6, everything is first.